Hello again. It's James here on behalf of Pocket Gamer and LaunchPad number 5. We are back with our ongoing series of mobile-related gaming shows. If you're joining us over there on the Twitch channel, hello, I can see there are a bunch of you plugged in. We're very happy to have you sound off in the chat and make yourselves known. If you're watching us over there on YouTube, equally nice to see you. Make yourself comfortable. Pull up a little seat. I've got some comfy ones lying around here somewhere. If you've never heard of us before, then sort it out. But also, we'll introduce ourselves. This is Pocket Gamer. We talk about mobile games. If it works on one of these things, we've probably covered it in some capacity or another. We've been around since the beginning of the whole mobile phone thing, back in the days of Angry Birds, back in the days of Doodle Jump, and even Java. We always mention it, but it bears worth mentioning. Remember Java? No, you don't, do you? You have to be young and sexy. So we've managed to persist throughout all those years till right now, and we're here to talk about a whole bunch of new things, old things that have been updated, small indie things, huge, incredible AAA things that have just come out. We've got sponsors you can see above our heads here. We're being sponsored by TurboShot and Mech Arena. We'll be playing Mech Arena in just a little bit for the first time since it's officially gone live. And we're going to have a nice time doing it. So we've got some people chatting away. Hey, it's James Beard, says Nerovingian 40. I'm reading it compressed in a small window, but hi. And yes, Beard, good spot. I like it. Nothing gets past you. We've got name tags this time. This is our upgrade because I'm James Gilmore, and joining me is Mr. Launchpad himself, the creator of the whole thing. It is Dan Sullivan. Let me teleport him into the room. There he is. Hello, Dan.
Hello, how's it going, mate?
I
noticed it doesn't say Mr. Launchpad himself underneath me.
There's only so much room you can fit on something like that. It starts to get a little bit microtexty. But it's good to see you. We exclusively do these events mainly so that I can catch up with my friends and the staff. That's what we do. We all work remotely, so this is our excuse to hang out. So, Dan, how are you doing? You all right? You all right, mate?
Yeah, doing all right. Doing all right, you know?
Doing all right. Good recently?
No? Went to the movies, played games,
wrote
about stuff.
So, see you next time, yeah?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. LaunchPad 6.
If only it were that easy. No, right. What we're here to do is, as I mentioned before the throw there, is talk about lovely mobile games. Just in case people don't know what you do, Dan, they probably know I do video. If you come from YouTube, you know I do video. If not, I'm the video fool. Dan, what is it that you do?
I run PocketGamer.com. I'm the manager and editor over there, and also for AppSpy and 148 Apps, which are also part of the same family of sites.
Yes, we cast our net wide at Steel Media, who is themselves part of Enthusiast Gaming, which is also being part of the network that's pushing us to different streaming places. So if you're an Enthusiast Gaming fan, watcher, part of their network, then hello, hi, howdy. Great to have you with us as well. And we're going to be here for the next 2 hours or so, and also for 2 hours tomorrow. This is a Thursday, Friday type deal, 5 p.m. in the UK, and then whatever other times exist around the world. I don't have my
plus or minus hours. Yeah,
I took down the wall of clocks that I had, that like Bond villain layer wall of clocks. I had to get rid of it because it was the clicking was driving me mad. So I'll just have to guess. But hopefully, whichever situation you're watching this in, if you're up late, if you're up early, whatever, we're delighted to have you here. And as I said, this show is designed to like run the full scope rather. The inception of the whole thing was all about providing a launchpad to not only big existing games that have got something to show off, but also smaller indies and stuff like that, right?
Indeed, yeah. So the idea was to celebrate games that other people haven't heard about, and kind of give those a chance to be on a stage, you know, before they might otherwise get a chance to be. Alongside other games getting big announcements too, just to create like a location, a destination, a heat point for what's going to be cool in mobile games and what people are going to be talking about in the coming weeks, months.
Exactly. And a lot of some of the interesting ideas, the more interesting ideas I've encountered tend to come from the little indie spaces. So it's nice to dive in. And, you know, when we're talking about 1 or 2 person teams and they don't have huge advertising budgets, they don't necessarily get the attention they deserve. They don't even necessarily work in 3D with huge, like, impressive engines and whatnot, but they will still often come out with these incredible, unique, unusual experiences that you wouldn't get from a AAA developer because it's probably too risky or a bit too weird or something like that. don't get me wrong, love the AAA stuff. It's all lovely, but we've got a bit of a blend here today. So we're going to be showing you a whole bunch of stuff, and we're going to start things off with something that may be familiar, but not on this platform. Should we get things going?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Here we go.
Hey everyone, it's Karol from 11B Studios. I'm here today to bring you some super exciting news about our favorite game, Moonlighter, because finally it's coming to Android devices, along with new controls, new balance and a lot of improvements. So be sure to check it out, because it's coming out very, very soon.
That was a very sweet chime at the end there. I like that very much. Yes, so Moonlighter for mobile. It came out on iOS about, I'm going to say 8 months. I'm going to be optimistically specific there. About 8 months ago.
We showed it off first time in a LaunchPad, didn't we? It was the first time it was shown on mobile as well. Just drop that in there.
Yes, we were playing it. There was live footage, and now we can officially reveal, as you saw there in the little trailer, it's coming to Android. This is a little preview of the mobile version we've got going on in the air. And this is very, very welcome news indeed. So obviously we liked the game, because when we saw it originally appearing on... Was the Switch the most kind of... Was that the first platform, or did it arrive on PC? I can't remember which came first.
I think I played it on PC. Actually, it was on an Xbox controller, wherever it was the first time I played it. Yeah, okay. Gamescom many, many years ago, I think.
And it stands out because it's kind of a fusion of two different genres. It's got that roguelike dungeon crawling top-down business going on, and then also, but run a shop as well. Exactly.
And but one thing that, you know, all of that's fantastic. But you've played this, because we played this previously, didn't we? I just think that dash, that kind of hold to dash or release to roll mechanic that they've got in there, you know, it just works so well. They clearly put a lot of time and thought into how the controls would work for it.
Exactly. Well, this is the thing that interested me about it, because our slant, whenever a game comes from, say, a PC or a console to mobile, our first thing is like, okay, good. Let's hold our praise for a second, and let's see if this thing actually works on a touchscreen. And that's always the stumbling block. And if you've ever watched anything we've done, we often talk about it, because it's one of the main sticking points. And the thing that this game did was it swapped the kind of just, you know, drag on an analog stick, and it turned that to a kind of touch to move, so you can tap the locations to go there. But the more interesting one was exactly as you said, the dash maneuver, which became a swipe. So you can swipe.
Yeah, I was trying to place what it was. I remember it was really good. But yeah, it's you touch to go somewhere, and then you swipe off course as well, rather than having two analog sticks on the go and trying to hit a button to initiate.
And it's one of the rare occasions where someone's saying, bro, no Android release. Ah, well, that's what this is. The Android release is coming. This is what we're revealing. It's coming to Android. So Slaytho1, this is what we're here for. We're breaking the news. This is Android. This is what this is. It's one of the rare instances where changing it to a touchscreen added a little bonus, because when you got that swipe to make your character roll and dodge, not only does it mean like, okay, you've got this kind of quick, easy gesture mechanic, it also opens it up to, you can kind of do it with any finger or any thumb. It doesn't matter. It's not located to just one side. So there's like more options than you would otherwise have. And I'm not saying one is better or worse here, but it's one of the situations where it didn't feel like, oh, I don't know, they've messed something up, or it didn't feel like I'd much rather be holding a controller right now. And that's the sticking point that we always get. How do you feel about roguelikes in general? I know we've mentioned it before, but the genre continues to thrive. In fact, there's a recent game, we'll be seeing it later on, but Legends of Kingdom Rush is kind of a new roguelike version or implementation of the whole tower defense genre thing. So it always creeps into other genres. And are you Are you into it? Are you sick of it yet? How do you feel?
Yeah, no, I like it, but I hate to say this, I'm very old, and so when I was younger,
You've got a gaming chair. You're sitting on an actual gaming chair.
Yeah, that's it.
How old can you be?
And so when you had a run at a game and you lost, there weren't back then there weren't necessarily passwords, or there weren't continues, especially when I first started playing games. A lot of the stuff was adapted from the arcades, and because you couldn't slot a couple of coins in there, which is what the games were built, like Rolling Thunder and Alex Kidd and Wonder Boy and stuff like that were originally the idea was you pump another coin in to keep going, but all of a sudden it's on the home computer. There's no pump another coin in mechanic. They've already got their money out of you for buying the game. So I don't mind run-based stuff, and I really like roguelites, wherein they have that progression. As you continue to foul, you kind of foul upwards, but in the other meaning of that word. So things like rogue
fail
leg
upwards has got a bad connotation now. Instead, I'm going to mention that everybody's frozen. You've thrown it in a fantastic presentary position. If it freezes,
I have.
You have, haven't you? Yeah. If it stays too much longer, I've got an emergency host that I could bring up while your voice works if you need to fix anything.
Okay. Well, I am moving, I promise. Just imagine me waving my hands around and moving, my jaw flapping.
The whole internet thing. I'm with you on the roguelike stuff. I quite like run-based things. I'm going to jump to a two-person show with the freeze frame. Check it out. The awesome power of the internet at work here. In fact,
why is this happening?
I can demo. Just keep talking, because I'm going to introduce you to my backup co-host. Look.
Fantastic.
That is my rabbit.
Oh, wow.
One of my rabbits. That is Clementino, everybody introduced when he was just a little tiny kitten rabbit. Adorable as he is. If Dan starts moving again, I'll bring him back. But in the meantime,
that's brilliant.
We've got our backup here. But no, I'm with you on this. Like the run-based stuff, it's a different kind of gaming. It lends itself to that replayability, and also it gives you something a little bit fresh and often chaotic every time. Sometimes the algorithm will be very, very cruel, and there's no way of necessarily knowing whether you're going to get thrown in with a really, it's going to drop a sword at your feet within the first dungeon. You're like, brilliant! Or it's going to give you absolutely nothing until level 3, and you have to fight tooth and nail for every possible shot. So
definitely.
Yeah, it can be.
And sometimes you feel like you're cheating the game, and sometimes you feel like the game's built to just destroy you, and you're not going to get any further. Yeah.
I'm enjoying the cognitive dissonance of the rabbit, and someone else is being like, "Why is there vermin on screen? How dare you,
vermin?
Fozzie, I'm not staying up for this. Like, respect. Look, she's so cute though. How can you have anything against the rabbit? My God." So what we're here to tell you is that it is coming to Android. Moonlighter is going to be available finally on both mobile devices. We called it a charming combination of action RPG and casual management elements, because that's the other thing, is that whole shop business, which is an interesting little mashup for people who like to go back and sell and do the upkeep. And whenever you're managing bases and that's mixed into combat, that can be a little bit hit and miss for me. It felt comfortable here. It felt pretty good. So I'm 100% into it. We called it demanding because it is quite challenging. So if you're not up for the test, then you want something light and relaxing, maybe this isn't it. But we really liked it on iOS. It went over very well. The Android version is shaping up to be just as sound. It will be coming very, very, very soon. I think there might be dates we can throw around. I don't want to say them just in case. But if we are allowed to do them, we'll put them into the chat. So all the more reason to get engaged. By the way, thanks to everybody for talking. There's a bunny that needs a name tag. I know. I didn't have the backup name tag, unfortunately, to go with the backup host. But Dan for the time being.
It's me.
I won't tell the rabbit. Right.
Just need a little beard on it, and then it's fine. Little headset.
You know what? When it gets a bit fluffy, it gets sideburns. Massive sideburn rabbit chops.
I'll
show you the modern picture at some point.
Fantastic.
So, that's the Moonlighter news for now. We're going to jump over to something a little bit different. This is something a little bit arty, a little bit slow paced, a little bit narrative. We're very excited at how it's turning out, and we'll tell you more about it in just a little bit. Here's Behind the Frame. My blood pressure has just dropped there massively. I've just been soothed. You can see Dan's back. We've lost the rabbit and we've gained a Dan again. Hello.
We found the magician. Yeah.
Exactly. Stuffed the rabbit back in the hat. Yes, so behind the frame. Now, this is immediately is it jam that the kids were saying about 3 years ago? It's probably already out of date. This is the exact kind of like puzzly, problem-solving, chill, relaxing, interactive thing that I like to put on when the lighting's like this. When it's evening and the lamps are on, sip a glass of sunset. I would never do anything that classy. It's no, don't kid yourself. But this looks like fun. So you like kind of narrative adventure stuff, don't you?
I do, yeah. As it turns out, as you'll find out from asking me about every genre, I like every genre.
Okay, good to know. We'll just clear that up right now. But I know for a fact that you have always lent more towards the indie side of things, and you've paid a lot on PC as well as mobile. And this is that kind of thing that turns up on those platforms where it's, you know, not necessarily the front page of Xbox Live, probably, but it'll be found like really highly venerated in the annals of Steam and things like that, and stuff like that, where you've got painting, where you've got things that you're moving around the screen. Again, really, really well suited touch screen. And when it comes to painting stuff, there are a few games that have tackled it. My mind always goes to Okami.
Yes, yeah.
Albeit a dog running around while you paint a universe. I'm sure there's other things that have approached the genre as well, but it's a really nice thing to try and tackle on a touchscreen because there's so many good art-based apps that utilize that in a really impressive way. Plus, that's how most digital art's done nowadays, with a tablet of some kind. And this one, as it's described, is vivid interactive fiction about an aspiring artist on the cusp of finishing the final piece of her gallery submission. So the idea is you are painting, and then through those paintings, as they are completed, they will unlock or reveal certain puzzles. And as you saw there, you've got things like, you know, moving stuff around in a jigsaw-esque fashion, but also not we've done with the rabbit. There's a cat in the way.
There's a cat.
Yeah, that apparently gets in the way, which anyone who's ever tried to, I don't know, like paint miniatures or something like that, when the cat does this and then bats them, and it's just a bad time all round. So the cat's going to interfere, which is probably the most realistic aspect of this game in so far.
But it's a beautiful looking game. I adore the art style. It's fantastic. The kind of touch and sliding pieces around to solve puzzles, to just move the story on. You're right. It's just really calming. This is just a slice of a moment. There's just a story wrapped around some quite small interactions, I suppose. Just not tugging you through, but yeah, you just give it a moment and sit back and chill.
I like to think of falling into these things because it's just like, don't get me wrong, we're going to be doing some like hardcore mech shooting in a bit. This isn't all just like artists and that, but there is a really good place for this kind of thing, and there are certain games that I will definitely not play after like 10 p.m. In the same way that people say don't drink caffeine after midday or something like that, there are certain games I'm just like,
cowards say that.
I know. I completely ignore that, and I do it anyway. But with the games, they really do wake me up. There's stuff that immediately like fires, and I don't want to be attempting like seriously hardcore shooters at night time. I want to be playing something like this. I want to be doing the enjoyable, relaxing music, solving puzzles that are gently satisfying, all that kind of business. And stop playing Rocket League after 10 p.m. says Darv. Don't do that. Too much swearing. Wake the neighbors up. The reason we're showing this to you here is because it's been shown on Steam. It's been a PC game. I don't know if it's out already, but it's certainly, I saw the listing pop up. But it's going to be coming to mobile, to touchscreens. The planned release date is August the 25th. So a couple of weeks from now, you'll be able to get your hands on it and have a look. We'll obviously be covering all of this stuff over on your website, rockgamer.com. Which is our point to say, by the way, if you haven't already like bookmarked pg.com, definitely do it, because that's where all the games news is. And likewise, if you're watching here on YouTube, then make sure you follow, ring bell, subscribe, all that business. And Twitch, make sure you follow us there, because we keep doing these shows and there's very little that's going to stop us. So we want to be able to let you know when we're going to show you a whole bunch of cool new mobile games, of which there is a lot more to come. So make sure you activate everything. But yes, August the 25th for Behind the Frame. If that looks like your jam, go and get involved. Now, we're going to drop that, and we're going to move on to our next one. It still looks painterly, but it's going a bit grim. 2 M's. Here we go. spooky and jazzy. I'm gonna cut to a 2-shot for this because why not? So, the cat's still the rabbit. The rabbit's still here in this one.
Oh
No, don't you dare scold the rabbit. There we go. All right, made a sneaky comeback. So, Grim and Tonic. Good name, good pun.
Good name.
Like it.
I like it. Yeah.
This is another one that's already out on Steam, I believe, but will be coming to mobile as well. The trailer was kind of elliptical. It didn't tell you much, which is kind of how I like trailers, and they don't just completely ruin everything in the first 5 seconds. But the basic idea of this is narrative-driven point-and-click style stuff. And tell me what you think of the hook. Wake up one evening to find Death drinking tea, sitting on your sofa. He offers you a temporary job at the Premiere, a local shady hole in the wall called Dead End. So, you're in your room. Death apparates, sipping tea for some reason. What's the first line? What's your opening line to tea drinking Death?
I say, it's after 12. You shouldn't be drinking caffeine.
Bang to rights. There you go.
And yeah, there you go.
Completely caught off guard, dumbfounded. Death just drops the tea, looks terrified, and then poof, appears. Nailed it. Darth saying, stylish look that. Yes, I like the look of that. It's doing more film, obviously very deliberately film noirish, black and white spook. But again, the whole interesting Death narrative stuff, I feel like it doesn't feel like it's being too edgelordy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It feels like it's doing it with a sort of tongue-in-cheek sort of way. What's the Tim Schafer game, which is all about Death? Grim Fandango?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe not quite as comedic as that, but it's certainly doing a sort of, little bit. It's a bit daft, isn't it? It's a bit daft. Death in a bar doing stuff. Here, I'll give you the quote stuff. So, maintaining a healthy work-life balance is tricky on a good day, but impossible when your boss threatens foreclosure on your mortal existence. So as the new bartender, you make new friends, you mix weird drinks, all while navigating life, death, and everything in between. Visual novel, and I know you like a visual novel, even more than you like the other stuff.
Now, I really like, these games where you're operating within a space and you have regulars come in and you're making you're making things to suit, and that can be as simple as things like Cook Serve Delicious, where they're not even regulars, you're just filling in these menu items, all the way through to the several bartending games that we've had over the years, be they cyberpunk or be they mundane or be they this, wherein you've got to make and mix ingredients while just chatting with people to either advance the story or just learn more about the setting. I just think it's really interesting slice of life, and there aren't many games that put you in what is essentially a trade. I know bartending is seen by some as this job that you sometimes go into when you transition from college into whatever, but puts you into a trade while you're doing mundane things with the general public, and it's cool. I really like it.
I think the cooking stuff, it's really exploded. And I think certainly the management stuff has massively exploded. Like landlording or looking after, for example, an island. Let's not talk about landlording. But, the whole Animal Crossing of it all, which is essentially, you're doing a lot of menial jobs, menial tasks. You're gardening, you're doing stuff like that. But that whole angle has proved massively comforting to people over the past couple of years. And I think there is, again, a sort of a serene zen to be found from doing that kind of stuff. And if the game works how I think it might do, whereas, yes, you're getting customers coming in, you're choosing which drinks to mix them, maybe you remember who likes what and that kind of stuff. It might seem menial and, bland or something like that, or dull to people to say, what, you just mix drinks? But I genuinely get a little kind of warm ASMR buzz off the back of it from just being this is very, very satisfying. This is very nice. And I do like the film noirish look. I know it can kind of be overused, and especially when people try and be very edgy with it, and it's so cool, and so dark, and so tortured. But I think that's what this is. It seems to be a little bit more fun. So what we should say is you can find out more about the residents of New Eden City, is what it's called, in what is called, they described it as a noir urban fantasy visual novel.
Wow.
Any going on there? The thing it made me think of, when he's talked about bar spaces and that, I think of, did you ever play Catherine?
That's the one where you dream and it's full of sheep and you ascend the pyramids.
That's the one.
Yeah.
But a lot of time of that is spent in a bar when you're not dreaming. You're in a bar and kind of hanging out in that area, and that always makes me think of. And it's the same thing. And I was talking about in the last stream. Talk about it again. The several bars that exist throughout Mass Effect. They've got different bars that you visit. The one in Omega, and you've got one back on the Citadel, and a couple of different ones. Going into those spaces every now and then, hearing the songs, and I will visit those spaces and just kind of hang out a little bit while I'm looking at my inventory, because it becomes an actual sort of space in your mind, and it's quite nice to exist in those spots, using games as things to escape into rather than like a checklist of stuff to accomplish.
Exactly. I know some game developers who specifically try and make games about what they call non-places.
Okay.
And non-places are kind of like the bus stop you wait at when you're going somewhere, or when you're driving on a long journey and you stop off at a service station. Nobody ever remembers really what's in there, and there's nobody travels. Nobody goes, I want to go out today, stand at this bus stop, or I want to go to that service station. You know what I really want to do? Ride a ferry. Where? I don't care. There are places that you go through, and in our day-to-day lives, stopping off at a coffee shop or going into a bar maybe while we're killing a bit of time waiting for someone, they are these non-places, these non-moments, and there's something
liminal spaces, don't they?
Yes, I believe so. I think that's the one.
No,
but those kind of non-places, and I think there's some kind of not magic, but some kind of escape there in that kind of slice of life part of the simulation.
Totally. Of the simulation that is our lives.
Yes.
Goodness me. It's gone quite philosophical quite early on. So, Grim and Tonic will be coming to mobile in the not too distant future. We will update you over on pg.com as to when and where that might be. But in the meantime, keep your eyes out for it. Now, we're gonna put all this narrative stuff to bed. And we're gonna do what games were originally planned to do: is shoot some stuff with big guns. Let's have a look at Mech Arena.
You're back with sports news. Last night saw a huge upset with some hot new talent on the field. Now, Ronan has dominated the leaderboards for 3 years. Yeah, well, he's finally got some competition. Former teammate Lancer has exploded into the scene, and he's got Team Ronan in his sights. They're out for blood tonight, and the gloves are coming off. Hard out the gate. Brickhouse shields up with Dude Zephyr rushing for the kill. Lancer's in trouble. Oh my God! What is he doing? Ronan is down, but Lancer's overextended. Oh, it's game over for Lancer. Wait, who is this guy? New Mech Arena champions, Team Lancer.
New Mech Arena champions. That was us not messing around, that trailer, and neither is the game itself. We're going live, people. So we would like to thank our sponsor. You can see him right up there above. Mech Arena. This is a new 5v5 mobile shooter from Plarium. We'll give you some stats real quick. We're looking at 30 plus weapons. We've got 22 competitive maps letting you jump into 5v5 mobile mech sport for some team mech based mayhem. And we're going to start a battle, because what else are you going to do in this situation? I have not played it very much. I was told deliberately you should just like jump in, because the whole point of this game is that it's easily accessible. The idea is you should be able to pick it up dead quick. So I'm going to see if I can prove them wrong by failing miserably. I have played a game tonight. So you can take up to 5 mechs into each match. When one is destroyed, you can choose another. Nice to know. Now, this is what you would call, I guess, virtual dual stick business. So I'm looking around with the right thumb. I am wandering around with the left. I've got the option to start shooting and 2 reloads, 1 for each gun on either side. I can see this red dude in the distance. Let's chase him down. There is a speed button as well as a jump, and we've got someone in our sights. Oh, they've moved to the side. We're getting cornered.
Straight, lad.
We are. Oh, this guy's completely pinned down. Reloading. Quick. I've got massive guns, you see. Ones that take a little while to recharge. I've only got 7 shots. Right, make him count. 3, 4, 5. Bam! First blood. Oh, there's someone right there. Quick.
Oh, there you go.
Whoa. Goodness me. So, mech stuff always makes me smile. I've always been a fan of the genre. Little known fact, I guess, by some people, that that's how From Software started out. They were doing their
Yeah.
Mech Battle Mechs or whatever it was called prior to all this.
Armored Brigade.
Armored
No,
Core,
wait.
something like that.
Armored Core, yeah. I
Yeah.
think they did Armored Brigade as well, which was the one where you pulled it down over your head that was in arcades.
Oh wow.
I'm pretty sure they were responsible for that ridiculous controller that had like 200 buttons on it.
Nightmare. Well, this one is a lot more easy to manage than that. So you can see I'm standing and capturing this area, which I have now done for our team. And oh, someone's got shields. He's got shields. How do I get shields?
That's not on, is it?
That's no. I'm not
Hacker.
happy. I'm not happy. So I can charge along here. Different mechs have different powers. Some of them will allow you to like run and move fast. You've got different kind of weapons that come with each of them. In fact, you've probably got more stats to hand than I do. Let me just shoot this guy while I capture this area. We're doing good. Someone's capturing area C. Recharge, quick, reload. Back away. This one's nifty. Player. I'm not going to say the number. There's too many numbers. He hasn't bothered naming himself. He goes in a row, and a battle win. They've got the spooky announcements. You have won the match. One of those boys, always essential. There we go. Do you do any competitive multiplayer stuff? Like in general, actually. I was going to say on mobile, but do you do it at all? Is that your jam?
No, not really. No.
Is that because you're confident in the knowledge that you're the best and you don't need to prove it to anyone, or?
No, I'm just a sore loser, James. That's most of it, to be honest. I blame the game, then I blame the technology, then I blame my internet, then I blame the other players, and then eventually I get round to blaming myself. Yeah.
Oh, it does come somewhere in the journey.
Yeah.
You do
near
turn
the
the
end.
camera back on you.
We
Okay.
used to be quite good at Call of Duty Modern Warfare, like the first one that they brought out.
Mhm.
No, but that was like 2007, man. So, and you know, I've not really excelled at anything, especially since you know how there's always someone out there who's better than you at something. You know, I just always end up in a match with them. Yeah.
I'll tell you who's better than you at the minute is my rabbit, because you've done the thing again. Let me bring in the rabbit. We're bringing in the rabbit.
No.
Yes, mate.
No.
Do the camera refresh while I'm
Do
playing.
the camera refresh. There we go.
Oh, he's already refreshed, but I like the rabbit being up. All right. Sorry, Clementine.
Rabbit's probably better than me at Mech Arena.
So I've just gone ahead and upgraded my mech, as was according. So the whole idea is when you jump into the game, you're going to experience this similarly to how I do. And one of the things that they were sort of stressed to point out is, especially with mech stuff, they can get quite complicated, those games. Because you're managing often not one but two different weapons on either side. It moves quite slowly. It's got that sort of tank-esque combat to it. When you're playing, you don't necessarily have the ability to dash around at super high speeds. So it's got a much more deliberate approach often when you're playing mech games, because you can't just zip off somewhere. You have to sort of tank it and take it. Make your movements count. Oh, hang on. Let's see if I can get this guy out. You've got two of us trying to capture it. Must have captured it by now, surely. Some of the mechs float, I've noticed. There's a couple of look like kind of little green bugs that can hover around. Oh no, I'm reloading. Nuts! Run away! Like it. I've pressed the little run button.
Oh, there you go. A really small, but I mean, it made a difference, didn't it? The little boost.
Oh yeah. No, I remember using it the first time, and it kicks everything into high gear. Definitely necessary. Let's find the person around this corner. How many have we got? C. We've got to find C. That's the one control point. I can see it in the distance. If you look up, you can see the spires of neon going into the air, telling you where to go.
It's quite a busy map, actually, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
To be honest, I'm surprised you got 10 people in what? There's 5 capture points there.
Yep.
5 minutes, 10 people. Yeah.
There's a bunch going on.
It's quite a bit going on.
My problem with these games is that I often get caught up in the whole murdering bit, and I forget about things like, you know, objectives and capturing flags and, you know, kings to kill and all that. So I'm too busy doing the shooty bangs.
I tell a lie earlier. I do sometimes dabble in multiplayer games, but not necessarily on mobile. Although Badlanders was very good, but
Oh, it was.
and I sometimes dabble in War Thunder, which this is very reminiscent of with the ticket system.
Yeah.
But I quite like slow and deliberate mechs.
No, me too.
I've been on a mech kick recently, to be honest. What with Mercenaries recently coming out, so
Oh, yeah, of course.
Warrior Mercenaries, yeah. Seems compelling.
So with this one, you don't just have the mode that we're playing at the moment. There are 4 different modes. You've got 39 upgradable weapons. So we're talking about things like mortars, railguns. It's got stasis beams, which I haven't seen yet, which would be quite interesting, and homing missiles, a personal favourite. Can't. No. Any little. mustn't swear on the big stream. Back away. Just gonna zoom back. That's quite satisfying, actually. That little speed up thing works in every direction. Kind of. Yeah, you can zip backwards like that. That's good. Good time. No. Back it up.
Well done, Big Stevie. Good pun. Good pun in the comments.
Am I missing punishment?
No puns. Someone asked if they're all bots in this game, Mech, and the person replied, "No, they're mechs."
Yeah.
Gold. Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what to say there. Nothing to say is there. We've got to win. I like this game. I've won twice in a row. So
Oh, there you go.
Game in the air. Ready? Done a lot of shooting, and that makes me happy. So we've got different maps as well. So 23 in total. So we're kind of in one area at the minute, but Paradise Plaza, which is kind of a sandy one. You got the neon streets of Forbidden City, Frozen Glaciers. At one point, you fly off into space. There's a whole bunch going on. I'm collecting up some stuff now. An event objective. Yeah. Rewards. I'm into rewards. Gimme. Do you collect all when you're picking up rewards, or do you tap every one to enjoy the little animation that plays to remind you you're best?
I collect all. We're so different, you and I.
Yeah, I know. we can never meet. We can never reconcile these. Oh, fine. Look, all right, I need support, okay? Anything. I'll take anything I can get. Some reward business being thrown. Finish the training. Is that it? Right, okay, wow. I will not be sending notifications because it's going to pop up while we're trying to stream, and that could be bad. Let's get stuck in then. I'm gonna claim my reward. I'm gonna do it. Give me a mech. Give me something mech shaped. Ooh. Paragon, RPG2, and a Lancer. So cards that you can then combine to give you even more mechs. These are the blueprints that you get. Now some dev business. Right, I'm just going to leap into another battle. I'm going to do it. Here we go. So that was a fairly, that's basically almost the entire tutorial that you saw.
Yeah.
9 minutes? 8 minutes? That's good. I know that people will get off, kind of put off by really heavy-duty tutorials, and
3, 2, 1.
It depends. Like some board game stuff, people get off put, and they don't need to be, because it's actually easier than you think.
Yeah. Well, board rule books. There's there's definitely a thing.
It's what they call the learn, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a board game terminology, you have to do the learn, which is someone has to know this thing and explain it to everyone else, and it can be a real headache if you're not familiar. But once you've got it, it's second nature. And so the onboarding is always tricky. This seems easy, accessible, and you're straight into the violence. So, right, my massive rocket launcher move back. Go on, one more shot. No. Yes. First blood again.
Well done.
Oh, and like this floaty dude. Looks like it should have a, especially in the sci-fi world, I feel like it should have some kind of camera. It should be following me.
Yeah.
That's what they always do. They turn all cameras float in the future. That's what I learned from the Hunger Games. And Mass Effect as well. We're back to Mass Effect. All roads. Right, capturing more flags. Come on. More flags. This is a zone. Ooh. Like how everyone's backing me up here. We've all powered into the middle.
Yeah, I was going to say, otherwise it'd be pretty dangerous there normally, wouldn't it?
Respect. That's very good. Have there been any good mechs, like in the modern era? Because when I see mechs, and especially stuff like this, my brain goes Ed 209 from Robocop, but it also goes to Evil 1 and stuff from Evangelion. I've gotten quite into Evangelion of late, which is good timing because it's all about to drop on Amazon tomorrow. So. Yeah. Go on, die. You're dead. I feel like next time we're going to have to put your multiplayer skills to the test. I'm going to get you involved.
Yeah. I mean, you've definitely had some multiplayer games go on stream, haven't you? Previous LaunchPads. You had the cool card flipping mana tile based game, and did you play Shadow Fight Arena 2-player?
I did with Reens, the excellent Dave Reens.
Yeah.
There's still floating around the internet talking about video games as is his wont. Just charge back to the middle. The multiplayer stuff will be fun, and this one's got a boost, a jump, I think this might be the loadout for me. Big heavy missiles combined with the satisfying leap into the air business. Very nice. I approve.
Big red guy with a shiny dome.
How dare you? Whoa! I like this guy's the big shield, the big hollow
Yeah,
shield.
yeah,
This
wow.
is neat. I'll see if I can break it down. Oh, I can. Good. Awesome. This is a bit more balanced. In fact, we're getting battered here.
Yeah, they've been cleaning up around the outside of the map.
Nuts. I'm focusing on the middle too much. Come on, folks, get involved. Got to take this guy out. Right.
You have 2
Humiliation.
minutes remaining.
Splendid. Unstoppable. 7 kills in a row. Right. We scored the center. Everybody.
Wow, yeah.
Humiliation.
Come on.
Double kill.
Who else left? B. Zone B. I see you. I see you loitering in the background. So this has, I know that I've seen it available or at least floating around on Android. As all games tend to have soft launches nowadays and pre-releases. But this game, like, officially went live not a few hours ago. So, if you wanted to get your hands on it, you could find it on both iPhone and iPad and Android, all available for free to download. And Mech Arena is the name, and with the win of that battle,
Won the match.
and draws this section to a close. MVP player. I'm getting champion music played in my ear. I don't know how loud that is. Someone said, Darv in the chat says literally went live 3 hours ago. So this is brand
wow.
new. And if you are interested in getting involved, do go and download and have a look. So thanks to the sponsors, Plarium, the guys behind the game itself, and Mech Arena, available right now. I'm going to close this up because I'm distracted by images of rabbits in my window here, and we're going to move on to pastures new. We've done a little bit of shooty bang business, and now we were talking about tasks. You were talking about food preparation, and that
We were.
that's ideal. That's very tropical, isn't it, Dan? Let's
Isn't
go.
it?
Full noodles. Here we go. Someone says we're now into the mad section of the stream. I don't know. Don't know what you mean.
Whatever could he mean?
Is it a rabbit? It's a rabbit. The rabbits. The theme. We found the theme for the stream.
There it is. It
Bunnies
was all
again.
deliberate. Yep.
Someone shouts into the stream. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So Noodle Superstar. This is a cooking game. You're going to be running a restaurant. You're going to be preparing noodle dishes with your bunny chums, and I am down for that. Ramen? Do you ramen? Are you one of those people?
I do, and I am. And
Egg on
I
top and all that?
do that at home. Yep, with the egg. Yep. The other day I had bibimbap, homemade bibimbap, which was great. And I cook a really mean pho, which isn't ramen technically, but does follow a lot of the principles. And this looks great, this game. Not just because of the cuisine, but because of the, I just like games that focus on those micro actions. Like it's almost like WarioWare, these interactions. It's like cut off the end of the bean, cut off the other end of the bean, slice the meat, and it's just so, it doesn't appear as targeted at children as something like Cooking Mama, but it looks, it's actually focused on one specific setting and one specific point and one specific area, rather than WarioWare, which notoriously has you doing almost exactly the same actions, but with the context changed by what's on screen.
That's right. It's jumping from kind of theme to theme and almost genre to genre. But no, you're right. There's a real trick or a real art to making something that's kind of cutesy and fun and colourful in a way that, yes, sure, kids will enjoy it, but also it appeals to kind of everybody. I think that's the balance that Nintendo has managed to strike so well over the years, which is a thing that I think when you're a kid, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I had things like PlayStations and stuff like that, and there was something about Nintendo where people go, "Oh, Nintendo, it's for kids, isn't it?" Yeah, and it's like I get that when you're like 10 and you're being an edgelord, but like which we all were when we were 10. Come on, let's be honest. But there, you miss the magic. You like the whole thing of those games is no, they are joyous. That's not what you're looking at. It's not the idea that this is childish. No, this is fun. This is actually pure, like uncut fun.
It's like cheer. Yeah,
It's a
it's
celebration.
Just a bright palette.
Yeah.
It's it's just exactly.
And that's a difficult thing to kind of, because it does slip very quickly over into twee and irritating. So I got sympathy with it, but when you get the balance right, it's just nice, which is obviously what this one is aiming for. So basic rundown: you have to learn the basics of running a ramen shop. This is via a single player campaign that the game offers, and then once you got that mastered, you test your culinary skills against other players via multiplayer, and you have to do food battles and cook-offs.
Fantastic.
So most of the cooking stuff I've done has either been single player in games. I mean, I single player cook my dinner at home, but also the overcooked style where you're doing it collaboratively.
Yes. Yeah.
And shouting at your friends for not, straining the spaghetti fast enough or whatever. Whereas this is a one-to-one. This is going to be you fighting against other players and engaging in, I guess, food war. Food fight.
Yeah, food war. That's it. Food fight. Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what the mode's called. If not, maybe it could be.
Missing a trick here.
Tricks
If
in
it
the
isn't.
post.
The other thing, it also leans a little bit into that stuff we were saying about Moonlighter with the shop that you're running and other things where you can customize and decorate the shop that you've created, so it becomes kind of your place. And again, even if it's just putting like a little bobblehead on the dashboard in your elite ship or something like that, there's little customization touches.
Exactly
Very nice.
that. It makes it your own. Yeah. I've recently been replaying through Card City Nights, and the fact that you can spend your in-game currency on more cards, or you can spend it just on the background that you're actually playing the cards on. Completely surplus, unnecessary, but just adds an extra layer of character to it. And I really like it when games do that.
It's always the best stuff. Once again, everything will be related to Mass Effect, but you collect those little model ships.
Yes.
You buy them from stores, and in the third game you find them lying around again. No point whatsoever. It doesn't do anything, doesn't increase your battle readiness, but they go in a little cabinet in my captain's quarters, and I like looking at them, all right?
I'm the best captain because I have all the ships.
That's right, I got collected the ships. And do you have all the ships? No, you don't, shut up. As Darv saying, it's always Mass Effect review. Yes, it was and always will be. So this is from the developers that made Battle Sky Bridge Harpooner, which was like a completely different game. They had it up on Apple Arcade and was all about like blasting barrels out of the sky and that. You'll notice a little badge over there in the corner which says Big Indie Pitch Finalist. That's one of our little campaigns. The person who will be co-hosting tomorrow with me alongside Clementino the Rabbit will be Sophia Drake, who is the runner of the Big Indie Pitch, which is our little... I guess it's the sort of we've always referred to it in the past when it started out as sort of speed dating with games, where developers will come in and they will show their games. They'll get like 5 minutes with a series of judges to kind of pitch their game at them, show them play, and then bam, move on to the next table. And then we get to choose the results. But it's kind of just grown and grown and grown over the years to this full-blown thing. And we're going to be highlighting periodically some of those games through this stream and the next stream. There's a bunch tomorrow that we'll be looking into, which we can show you. And this is the stuff where, like, sometimes we see it at the Big Indie Pitch and we go, "That's a cool idea. That's an interesting game. We like this. We'll show it. We'll figure it." And then 6 months later, they're signed by Apple Arcade or something.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many cool games have come up through it. I really like. Have you played? I think it's Horizon Drift, maybe the racing.
It's a racer. Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I ever saw that was at one of our Big Indie pitches, way back when we started doing them. And Sophia is going to be so much better at talking the Big Indie pitch than me. But anyway, there was, but Hidden Folks, the fantastic little black and white cartoon outline, and you touch them and it was all mouth noises and basically like Where's Wally or Where's Waldo for the American audience, of just finding stuff throughout it. That came up through it. And that's such a fantastic game that I heard about before I even worked with Still. Yeah. And that actually came up and won first place, I think, when we ran one at E3 or GDC many years ago.
Remember conferences? Remember live events?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Humans.
We're getting there, folks. We're getting there. It's better than it was, hopefully. So this is one of those developers. We were delighted to have it in our finals at the Big Indie Pitch, and we're delighted to share it with you now. Now, the one thing I'm not 100% on here is the date as to when it's going live, but we are able to show you that early glimpse of gameplay footage, and we're very much looking forward to getting our hands on it for reals this time when it goes live. So keep them peeled for Noodle Superstar. Peeled! That's a cooking thing, isn't it?
Oh, you did it. Yeah, got it.
Someone in the chat likes puns. Did I?
You had date written down here with question mark.
out of the park. Smashed out. Okay, we'll put that to bed before I say anything awful. Let's move on to something new. Let's talk a little bit. Ooh, let's do Summoner's Fate. Summoner's Fate there. So, this is the strategy, adventure, RPG, tactics, deck builder.
Oh, goodness.
All
Doesn't
of these
it?
worlds apply. I'm throwing all the genres at you, Dan, right in your face.
I do like those genres.
you already said all the genres.
Yeah.
Equally brilliant, like your children. So, this is trying to combine turn-based tactical combat, deck building, and free roaming exploration, which is ambitious, to say the least, but certainly if they could pull it off, and we're looking forward to playing it when it appears in the not too distant, I'll share a date in a moment, that would be an exciting thing to do. So you decide the destiny of your summoners by choosing their teammates and spells, which are obviously represented as cards in this instance, and then explore an open world, look for new characters, discover them through encounters, all that kind of stuff. So I think this one will be one. If you're familiar with these individual genres, you're probably in a good place to start off. Because again, we talk about things like onboarding and things being quite daunting when you first approach them. And when someone says strategy, adventure, tactical deck builder, you're like, whoa there, whoa there. I like shooting mechs, but this sounds like a lot. But again, I think there's certain things that, like, when I open them up, I go, oh my god, this is going to be so hard. And then you look at it and go, okay, well, that reminds me of this game. I've played that. An RPG. Oh, this is a choice system, a morality. Oh, I've done that in this game. And I think people aren't aware just how many things they're already familiar with, how many soft skills they've already picked up along the way.
Soft skills.
Is that what that is? I think, did I use that right? Is soft skills just like falling into some foam? Is that a soft skill? That's
the one. Yeah, always landing on a pillow.
Yeah,
wherever you are, when you fall out of buildings. Yeah,
I got that down. Yeah, pat. That's what I'm all about. No, but like the thing that people forget, I often think when they try and get people into games who maybe aren't, naturally into it, didn't grow up with a PlayStation controller in their hand, is that when you just hand a controller to someone, it's such an alien object that people just go, look, they don't have them like 15 years of muscle memory of using dual analogs and stuff like that, and it really throws people off. And so that's one of the reasons why touchscreens proved so successful and mobile gaming was such an accessible way of getting into the hobby, because everybody can point. Like, everybody gets that intuitively. I want to do that thing. I want to move that over there. And like, that's a kind of a wonderful thing that just opens it up to everybody. Which I know some people take issue with and get funny about, but like, I don't like gatekeeping. You should be able to enjoy super hardcore games. I love my Bloodborne, but also, like casual stuff you play 5 minutes. Brilliant. Like time and a place. I like chocolate and I like ice cream. Not mutually exclusive. Although, put them together, something truly magical. So, about this one, Summoner's Fate. You decide the destiny of your summoners by choosing their teammates and spells, as we mentioned earlier, and combine the cards in weird ways. So the stuff that stuck out for me here when I watched a little bit of preview video. So, for example, hurl squirrels at orcs, and then you can transform them into an army of mutant Hulk squirrels. Which I can't believe hasn't come up in another game already, but I'm glad it has now. You can travel back in time and wreak havoc with a bunch of steampunk rats, if you want. Not just regular rats, you understand? I think I saw a couple of them kicking around Cyberpunk as well. Cyberpunk rats. What happens with them is
Cyberpunk
that
rats. Yep.
they wander up and then the texture pops in 5 minutes later. Didn't be allowed on the internet, should I? Sorry, everybody. Look, everyone in the chat. Sorry,
that would work the same with Mass Effect, though, wouldn't it? Especially Mass Effect 2.
What's that you say, Dan? Mass Effect?
Yeah,
Mass Effect? Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, with the Unreal Engine at that point was notoriously texture popping in, wasn't it?
How dare you, sir? I will not stand. Yeah, it was quite bad.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh, well. Remaster's good, doesn't do the remaster.
Yeah.
Episodic single player content. That's how they're dishing this one out. So it's going to be gradual installments of stuff that scales gameplay into manageable sessions. Complicated as 3 minutes or played continuously for 3 hours. Once again, we're leaning into that mobile business. Now, the date on this one. So this is a next year deal. So the release date they've got for the platforms, roughly, we're talking March 2022. That's what they're aiming for. Sorry, you're not.
Why not?
Why not? Okay, yeah.
Why not?
Not that dates shift nowadays or anything. Not that world events have caused everyone to completely tear up their calendars and stuff. But no, let's be optimistic. Let's say early next year, you'll be able to get hold of it. And they're doing, as well as all the genres, Summoner's Fate is doing all the platforms. So iOS, Android, PC, Mac, will all come flying at your face in one form or another. Possibly console. I don't know. They're not doing console, but
I do really like the idea of the episodic content, because when I read that with this collection of genres, it says to me something like Fire Emblem Heroes, wherein you have those tiny little single arena parts of each chapter, which are episodic, and that could work really well with a deck building RPG based tactics game. Looking at the size of the screen, the size of the battlefield, I suppose it's very much got that vibe to it, but with a little bit of chaos from that kind of dark fantasy setting, rather than leaning on Fire Emblem's setting.
You enjoy chaos. Chaos is
good.
Yes. So look out for that. As always, we're going to be covering stuff on pocketgamer.com. If you're just tuning in right now before the 6 o'clock reset, then hello everybody. This is Pocket Gamer LaunchPad. This is the 5th installment of the show that we do every now and then. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching on Twitch over there to get more when our news appears, because we're bringing you all the brand new mobile gaming info, news. We've got reviews. We've got announcements of games that were previously mysterious and shadowy, and now we have opened the window and let in the light on them. It's a good time. We're sponsored by TurboShot and Mech Arena. You can see them above there. We played Mech Arena earlier, so go and check out the catch up on it, and it'll be available on YouTube as well. So you can see a bit of mech battling going on in the not too distant. So we are going to leave you for a little bit, not the stream. We're going to leave you with some content, some delicious content. We've still got an hour to go, but we like to break things up. We don't want to stare at our faces the whole time. So as well as recommending games that are about to come out and covering new and exciting information, we also like to do things that recommend games that are already out that you can get right now. This is the kind of content that we do over on the Pocket Gamer YouTube channel. And with that in mind, we're going to share with you what is our top 10 best platformers on mobile. Get your notepad open, get a pen and paper ready, scratch it on something. I don't care, but this is good stuff. If you like platformers, you got a phone, you need to get on these. See you in a little bit. Dead Cells is a sprawling, challenging 2D platformer in which you steadily increase your character's capabilities and slowly come to understand more about the hostile world around you. The pendulum constantly swings between empowerment and a sense of fragility. The roguelike level design keeps things unpredictable, and the touchscreen controls are far more reliable than we expected. A masterful action adventure on every platform. This classic side-scrolling adventure game was first released on the original PlayStation back in 1997, but its 16-bit sensibilities and monster-slaying mayhem still shine today. The mobile version of Symphony of the Night brings in some changes, such as achievements and a much welcome continue feature. And if the virtual controls don't satisfy, then controller support has you covered. It's a classic, and we're glad to have it on mobile. Super Mario Run makes you feel like a speedrunner, holding the run and right buttons and bouncing from platform to enemy to P-switch without a moment to look back or breathe. It's exhilarating in its speed and relentlessness. What's more, these stages aren't randomly cobbled together by a clever algorithm. These are handcrafted by proper Mario designers, matching the speed and fluidity of the game perfectly. A deceptively simple game that serves as a full-bodied celebration of Mario's genre-defining jump. If you're a veteran of the platform genre, then Oddmar will hit a lot of familiar beats. There are spikes, wall jumps, secrets, spinning things, moving platforms, but from the cutscenes to the animations, from the backdrops to the towering bosses, every part of it has been preened and polished and perfected. You're riding a boar, you're traversing a dream world on the back of a lumbering dragon, and you're doing it all with a massive grin on your face. Downwell is about a lot of things. It's about falling, collecting, dodging, buffing. But mostly, it's about gun boots. Not enough gun boots in gaming. I mean, why blast demon bats with your hands like a chump when you can strap a Glock to each toe and propel yourself upwards on a propulsive cloud of bullets and gore? Are you asking yourself the same question? No? Well, play Downwell anyway, it's really good. Okay, so this isn't so much a recommendation of Rayman Mini as it is a recommendation for almost all the Rayman mobile games. This is one of the franchises that shows you precisely how to adapt a standard console platformer into a one-touch platforming autorunner without losing either the danger, the excitement, or the need for skill to execute perfect, satisfying runs. And for goodness sake, just look at it! Whoa. Essentially a sequence of pulp movie adventures, Little Orpheus is a slightly postmodern take on the platform genre. Leaning into narrative devices like narrators and heavy use of music, it builds a series of ridiculous, over-the-top worlds to charge through. The actual platforming itself is familiar stuff, but it's delivered in such an entertaining and polished package that you're more than happy to be reeled in for chapter after chapter. A spiritual successor to Playdead's indie hit Limbo, Inside resurrects the small child runs through a terrible world full of unspeakable horror while the critics nod sagely formula that works so well the first time. Big spiders have been replaced with eerie industrial farm machinery and mind-controlling slugs, and being able to pilot slug-powered zombies is a nice puzzle mechanic. A clever story well told, doesn't outstay its welcome, cracking ending, might give you seasonal affective disorder, 9 out of 10. Death Hall's hyper-stylized hellish world is not for the faint of heart or finger. You're repeatedly running a gauntlet of randomized levels conjured into being for the express purpose of making you feel clumsy and useless and also like a demon ninja because you just beat the unbeatable. No L's for you today, you are the best there ever was. Slick and silky and brutal and really good. Super Cat Tales is for the retro enthusiast that's played it all before and wants some new old stuff to remind them of all they've played before. Developer Neutronized, like the game's fans, enjoys spikes, coins, moving platforms, crates, all the hits, all the pixel art, all of the time. It's slightly more open than some retro platformers and doesn't have the Metroidvania connected map business going on. You'll also need to switch specifically skilled moggies to conquer challenges. Both of the games in the series hit the sweet spot and are out on all the platforms right meow. I don't deserve a microphone. A few recommendations for you there. Now, platformers, end on a terrible pun. I knew Darth would be happy with that. One of the more tricky things to get right. I feel like when mobile games started out, platformers was one of the first hurdles they had to conquer.
Yeah.
Because of the whole, where are the buttons? There are no buttons on this. How do you do a jump? What's going on? And I think they've done a really good job over the years of optimizing their control systems to make it work.
Yeah, look at that list. I mean, the list talks for itself, or it speaks for itself, even talks for itself. Goodness.
I'm gonna put a rabbit on your face. There it is.
Have I frozen? Oh,
You're
this
frozen
is terrible.
again. Take your time, man. Do a refresher whenever you're ready.
I'm back.
There we go.
Right. But there's such a, just from that list there, there's such a variety of different different ways to control the games in there. Like the Rayman games are notoriously, a lot of those are just auto running, but it feels fantastic. And that whole series, especially the mobile ones, look absolutely beautiful. Like people sometimes say in conversation to me, like Rayman Origins was brilliant, Rayman Legends was fantastic, why are they not still making Rayman games? And the answer is they are. It's just they're on mobile. Have a look on there, because you've clearly missed about 6 now, and they're all fantastic.
Like, I mean, the first one appeared as in Rayman Jungle Run and Rayman Fiesta. Like, those games are brilliant.
They're all great.
They are as good. They are obviously slightly different with that one touch thing, but they're honestly so good. And it's one of the things I would give people, go, here, look, play this. You're almost guaranteed to like this if you like the Rayman stuff. And it was real like, oh, for people who are maybe skeptical about the whole mobile thing.
That's it.
But yeah, no, they've done a cracking job. And everything there we heartily recommend. Obviously, that's the point of the list. One of many lists we have over on the Pocket Gamer YouTube channel, which you should be subscribed to and ringing bells and all that business, because that's what we do. We got recommendation lists, we've got reviews, we've got lots of gameplay business going up as well. So do go over and subscribe, and obviously my Pocket Gamer as well.
Read the site, guys.
Yeah, do reading. Reading's nice.
Oh,
now, we're going to get back to new announcements. We've got a very impressive video presentation here, so we can sort of dip out again. This is us getting giving our faces a rest. Me and the rabbit, we're going to go and chill, and you are going to learn about this massive oceanic expansion. See you in a second.
Greetings, adventurers! It's time to visit an exciting world for the first time. A place filled with mysterious secrets passed down as old stories. The Great Ocean will be revealed to the adventurers soon. And before the update, I'll set out to the Great Ocean and show you what will be coming. I won't keep you waiting, guys. Let's go! After completing the North Valencia main quest, the Kadri Gatekeeper, the new story, Off to Sea, becomes available. Through this story, you will be able to access the vast sea of the Great Ocean. On the world map of the Great Ocean, undiscovered locations are concealed by dark fog, and their location icons are invisible. To remove this fog, you need to explore and visit the main island of that area. Once you do that, the fog will be gone and the area will be visible on the world map. Okulia coins is commonly used currency in the Great Ocean. The coins can be used in the Shikatu shop or for trades in the Great Ocean. Okulia coins can be obtained by defeating monsters, Great Ocean fish delivery, Great Ocean appraisal, and other various ways. Before we start sailing, let's take a look at the ships. Your ship stats will increase along your sailing level. So, the higher your sailing level is, the stronger your ship will be. You can increase your sailing level in the Great Ocean via defeating monsters, fishing, and through the treasure recovery. We also need to take a quick look at Endurance. You can find the Endurance gauge at the bottom center of the screen. Endurance will decrease as you defeat monsters and claim rewards. You'll not be able to claim rewards or gain experience points if Endurance runs out. However, Endurance resets every Monday at midnight, so make sure to use all of your Endurance and claim rewards before then. The compass on the minimap indicates wind direction, wind speed, and where north is located. You can sail faster if you sail with the wind, but you'll be slowed down when you're against the wind. While sailing, you may find whirlwinds that can provide you with the power of wind. When the ship goes through the whirlwind, the power of wind effect will increase your sailing speed for a short time. It will dissipate on its own as you continue sailing. But using a whirlwind is not the only way to increase your sailing speed. You can also use the speed up button to sail more quickly. Speed up can be activated once the related gauge is filled, and the gauge increases faster when sailing with the wind. Well, that's a brief look into sailing. And now, let's move on to the content that you can enjoy in the Great Ocean. You can fish anywhere in the Great Ocean. Certain locations called fishing hotspots can be located where seagulls are gathered. You'll earn better items by fishing at the hotspot when compared to regular fishing. The fish that you've caught can be delivered to the NPCs at ports and in the craft, materials exchange menu in exchange for craft materials. You can earn steel, plywood, and tears of goddess by delivering fish this way. You can also earn special items by recovering treasures drifting on the sea. Once you set and complete wanted missions at ports, you will get Ocolia coins, as well as steel and plywood to enhance fittings, and ship parts to upgrade your ship. If you don't like what you see on the wanted mission list, you can refresh it once a day. Wanted missions can be completed up to 7 times a week. You can load cannonballs into the cannons on your ship. Hold the fire button and choose the direction you want to aim, then release the button to fire. You can obtain various cannons by upgrading your ship. A new collection containing Great Ocean stories will be available. You can fill each collection with items found in the Great Ocean. You can learn about each ocean area and the ship grade needed to sail there from the sailing guide. With this, you can verify what content and which part of the sea would be best for you before you set out to sail. Westeros Sea is known as the Outlaw Waters, where you can engage in ship combat with other adventurers. Pirate ships also spawn in the Outlaw Waters, and you can earn Coral Chest here by defeating pirate ships and monsters. The chest can drop ship parts along with the Pedex Pirate Island invitation. Pedex Pirate Island can also be found in the Ross Sea. 10 Pedex Pirate Island invitations are required to enter the island. And while mentioning that you can earn these invitations by opening coral chests looted from pirate ships and monsters, you can also obtain invitations by completing weekly tasks. You and your ship crews can battle together in Pedex Pirate Island to earn treasure trove of Ocolia coins and silver. You can build a Sylvia Goddess statue in your camp if your town hall level is 4 or higher. Tears of Goddess can be gathered from the Great Ocean, then offered to the statue to increase its level. AP and DP are awarded upon each level gained. The stats earned from the Sylvia Goddess statue will apply to all characters in your family. Are you ready to have an adventure and gain honor through the Great Voyage? Now hire anchor and spread your sail towards the Great Ocean, full of never-ending adventures and precious treasures. Why don't you join me as I prepare to set off to the Great Ocean?
That was a lot of beasties. Let's throw that up there. The Black Desert Mobile Great Ocean update. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
People
considering the ocean's just a big wet thing, they've done quite a bit with it, haven't they?
Yeah, it's a surprising. It's spinning gold from water. No, don't do that. You're just ruining your loom, won't you? We've covered this game a bunch over previous LaunchPad events. They've always kind of throwing us here's a new thing that we haven't announced yet, and so Great Ocean Update is the latest in those. They already covered a lot in a lot of detail there. So basically, new currency, sailing. There's a new character appearing, which wasn't mentioned, and that called Lan. Who's a martial arts character, and she does a lot of what they call effortless martial arts business. So you'll be able to take a look at her. But if you want to, you need to go and actually download the game and have a look and all that business. But I was immediately drawn to the loads of those whale-like looking beasties that weren't quite whales.
Yeah.
I like them. I'm into them. It's good. And it's giving me, in a world where Pirates of the Caribbean has somewhat gone off the boil, the soundtrack was giving me those kind of slightly warm Hans Zimmer. Dun, 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 dun.
It's me. It's me.
Dan was dancing as well.
And
the rabbit was going mental.
I bet.
So, lots to look forward to there. So, if you do want to go and have a look at it, Black Desert Mobile, it's been out for a while now, but is obviously available to download for free on iPhone, iPad, and Android. And for more coverage of it and stories about this, if you're unsure about what's going on, you can find over on pocketgamer.com, as with everything that we talk about here on LaunchPad. Go and check it out. Now, another big indie pitch. We were talking about it earlier, those games from small developers who come in and we spot something and we go, that looks like it could be something. Ooh, this is one of those. We're going to show you a first look at Farm and Mine. Farm and Mine, boys and girls. There we go. Let me throw that up there. So, as I said, another of our big indie pitch developers. This came around to us at one of our conferences, which most of them are being done online now, by the way. If you are interested in attending like mobile gaming conferences from not just a like, oh, I like games, but also from a developer standpoint, then of course Pocket Gamer Connect is the conference that we run. It's kind of industry leading mobile conference, and due to the situation in the world, we've taken it all online, and we've been doing it. We're up to, oh God, where are we? Number 6, 7?
Yeah, I think 7.
There's been a lot of them. They've continued to be great, and you should 100% go and sign up for them, because if you want to learn how to do mobile gaming, how to start up a studio, how to like track down investors and all that kind of businessy sounding stuff, then all those businessy people are there and they're waiting to give you advice and swap tips. So go and get it done. But these folks came to us during one of those events, and we talked about smashing up genres earlier. This is combining 3 different things. So we've got simulation of farming and mining, or mining. My mouth is trying to say. But the 3 main aspects that we're talking about here is you've got agriculture. That's the first bit. So you've got farm crops, growing vegetables and rice and grain and stuff like that, some of which you sell directly to the market, while others you have to sort of wait and funnel through a different like production chain in order to get out into the world. Then you deal with population growth. So that's what's generating the workforce which is working on the farm. And then that leads to automation, which is the other thing of it. So it's got a bit of like a clicker when you're not clicking. You're building the engine, I think. Yeah,
it's definitely, if this was a card game, we would call this an engine builder. Something like Terraforming Mars, where you're placing things down and then system that's allowing you to progress further along, rather than your traditional idle function, which is more a case of clicking until you can automate something. You know,
whereas this plot pitches itself as something that has an auto clicker function. The idea is it doesn't want you sitting there jamming. The idea is the decisions that you make it. Oh, I think perhaps the developer is in the chat. Hello, if you are there. But the idea is that you don't have to sit there tapping away at your screen relentlessly. The idea is the decisions that you make and the investments that you make allow the machine to work, and it pays off automatically as you sit back and look.
The developer's actually quite well known for making games that are like that, like crazy invention games that start off as just a tiny thing, and then all of a sudden you've got flying robots delivering something further in the plan, and everything just scales up. So I'm really interested to see how that can be brought to this, you know, mining and farming.
Marming, yes.
Marming. I was doing it too now as well. Wow. Someone should trademark that, because they could be making bank right now.
I'm running with it. Yeah. So the idea of this one is that idle time is unlimited. It's not one of those ones where, and I take this to mean, and the developer can correct me, that like there are some games where you have like a limited space to store your wealth or your earnings. You have to go back in, empty it, and then you can start again. Whereas I don't think this is how this one is working. Funnily enough, I've been playing a couple of clickers recently, and we actually worked with the folks behind Adventure Capitalist. Which is one that I think it launched and everyone went, oh, I don't like this game. And then it went on to be insanely successful. and like lasts for years and years and years and years. It's like well over 5 years old now, I think. And that's one of those ones where I always go in going like, clickers, I'm not into clickers. And then, all right, I have to play it for, I'm making a video about it, so here we go. And then before long, it's like, and you're suddenly invested in the thing that you're doing.
That's it. And that's one of the game that you mentioned is easily one of the kind of cornerstones of the genre being popular. That and stuff like Egg Inc.
Yes.
And Clicker Heroes, they're the game, and Cookie Clicker as well, of course.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that really kind of accidentally became that kind of gateway into this ever deepening genre.
It is. It's an interesting one. So, if you want to give that one a go, go and talk to the developer and say hi. They're in the chat right now, but you can go over to Google Play at the moment where it's in early access, so you can take a look at the game in the state that it's currently in. There's no official release date for the final build right now, but if you're one of those people who likes to jump in early on the ground floor and have a look at it when it's still in its nascent state, then you can find that right now over on the Android shop, and we'll obviously fill you in more details regarding the official release later on when it appears. Okay, we're gonna put the farm away and we're gonna move on to the next one. We're back in the art world this time, but with an interesting real world slant. So check out, please touch the artwork.
Please touch the artwork. A relaxing puzzle adventure in which you'll finally find out what would happen if you did actually touch the artwork. You'll visit an exhibition which contains 3 full games, each based on a different painting from Piet Mondrian, an abstract art pioneer. The first game is about the origin story of pure abstract art. You'll have to add colors and lines to the canvas to reproduce the painting on the left. The second game tells the story of Boogie and Woogie, 2 squares who just want to be together, but a rapidly growing world is making this harder and harder. You'll have to help Woogie reach Boogie by figuring out how the obstacles influence Woogie's path. In the third game, you'll move to the big city, only to be overwhelmed with mixed emotions, from joy and excitement to being homesick and missing your friends and family. Will you be able to find your way out of the maze that is New York City? We can't wait for you to play with these paintings, and Please Touch the Artwork launches later this year on iOS, Android, Switch and PC. However, you can already pre-order the game on the app stores at a discount price starting today.
I massively respect the level of satisfaction he had with that one. Starting today. Please touch the artwork. This one, I saw the screenshot and was kind of like, eh? And then looked into it further. Was like, oh no, okay, I see you've got something here. And then when you read testimonials for other folks and people who've played it, like, or at least early builds of it, like, oh, okay, right, this is really interesting. This seems like something to make a bit special. So the way it's described, it bundles a collection of calm, compelling puzzles and interactive stories based on real abstract paintings, like your man was describing there. There's 3 different games which each are based on an existing painting. So the first game that's packaged within it is called The Style, where you're matching the colors of painting. The second game is a narrative puzzle called Boogie Woogie, which is about 2 blocks. So I'm thinking like Thomas Was Alone, 2 cubes that just want to be together. But society's making it harder and harder, and they have to help each other out. Then the third game is a narrative maze about moving to New York City. But I think it's mixed in with a lot of, like you were saying there, it's the real, like, bringing the paintings, bringing that stuff to life, putting you inside these objects and treating paintings almost like game worlds or maps or something like that. That's kind of neat.
And another thing that this does that really stands out, I mean, obviously these are art, but these are minimalist art. And I really like puzzle games that follow that minimalist, super minimalist style. Things like Mini Metro and stuff, which almost trades in iconography. But yeah, these simple lines with complexity coming on further on, and that there's just a visual appeal to that. And it's easy to lose yourself in that because of the simplicity. So I really like that he's got that minimalist, or they've taken this minimalist style and they've applied these different types of puzzle to it.
There's a proper satisfaction in drilling everything down to the absolute minimum of what you need. In a world where obviously the Unreal 5 engine can spit out a bajillion triangles and make these incredible true to life looking things, and spaces. But then, like, some of the best stuff is really just bare bones. It's lines on a screen, and you know that's why 16-bit animation and art continues to be incredibly popular, because you know, simple. It's much fewer colors. There's a lot less going on, but it looks great. And then when you're talking about this kind of stuff, when you get into abstraction and cubism and all this business, when it literally is just right angles and bold colors, some people are like, I can do that. There's, you know, a couple of cans of Stella and a paintbrush, easy. But like, the reason it's survived for so long and stayed so interesting, because it does speak to people. The colors speak to people. It has that emotional effect on you. So
why do more when you don't need to in that department? You can deliver the more in different ways. Yeah.
People go a bit overkill, I think, sometimes. I don't have like loads and loads and loads of stuff on my wall in the background, which can be really nice. I know some people like especially like cover their walls in a million things. There are some plants over there, but you can't like breathe through it. I find it all like the walls are coming in on me if that's happening.
Yeah,
like,
it does suddenly close the area in. To be honest, as you can see in my image, I'm actually ascending to heaven.
Yeah,
right
you've
now.
got the full god beams.
Yeah, that's it. At the end, I will just diagonal up and out. Like that.
Well, you're gonna Doctor Who or Star Trek transport your way out, and then the bunny will just be left on its own. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting so far in the stream. It's been doing well. So we are 100% hyped for this. We're talking about over 100 levels based within those 3 games that we described, procedurally generated levels for replayability and whatnot, and we can confirm an end of 2021 release date. So they said Q4. When they say Q4, that's such a miserable business.
It's tricky because of that, because the business year's Q4's like January to April, isn't it? Yeah, that's it.
I don't like it. Whenever you say Q stuff, it sounds like it's when you say content to describe a video or a piece of art. I did some content.
Oops, I've done a content.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. But either way, keep your eyes on this one. We'll cover it on pg.com. This is one I'll definitely be getting into. And again, touchscreens, touching the thing with the. I want to play it on the App Store on Google Play more than I do Steam. This is going to lend itself just lovely to a touchscreen. We're going to give it a look. Now, let's move on to something else. We're going to jump into. We're going to have a couple of guards. We're going to finish up the stream with a pair of guards, starting with Riven Guard. Riven Guard. Oh, it's telling me the format is supported. Do I have? I'm going to jump over to this one for a second. This is the Elgar.
Put the rabbit on.
No, the rabbit. That's too much screen time for the rabbit. I don't like it. I'll give it an unplug and plug back in. That'll do the trick.
Real.
So this is a game that we can currently play at the minute. It's, I think, not been released for too long, so it's in the early stages. But let me see if that's worked. Will we get a format supported? I can still hear noise. I may have to rely on words to describe it.
Hold it up to your camera like this while touching it.
I can do that. I can show it's there. Look,
yeah.
Riven Guard, everybody, brilliant. All right. Well, I luckily for these situations, I do have another option. I have not only game information, but also we've got some art to go with it. So let me throw up here. Riven Guard, lovely stuff. So what we're dealing with is a turn-based RPG action. So I'm going to tap to continue. I think maybe it's worked. Has it suddenly worked? Let's have a look.
Is it working? Goodness.
Hey, there we go. Look, you get a bit of both worlds.
Look at that. Blinding.
Not a rabbit in sight. So, unlock and upgrade ultimate collection of heroes to deploy on a wavering force on the battlefield. So we are in tutorial territory here, and this is all about tile-based RPG, tap, swipe, drag, smash. So we've got the main character with a very satisfyingly large hammer. We're advancing up a series of hexes in order to batter goblin/orky looking things. The thing that I like they've put in here, because I did play a little bit earlier on just to make sure it was all working, is they're doing verticality. So you can see that these tiles aren't just all on the same level. There's high and low ground. So I've just jumped onto a bit of high ground, which has allowed me to trash the gobbo that was on low ground.
Cool.
Which I've not seen too much in the hex-based stuff. Usually you're on a level plane and they don't take, like, you know, the Anakin has the high ground thing into account.
It's been a while since I've seen that in a game.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, there's a couple of indie games that come to mind recently, but my mind immediately jumps back to like Vandal Hearts 2.
Oh, really?
PlayStation 1. Yeah, that's what my mind instantly went back to when you said verticality, and that's a problem, isn't it? It should be in everything.
That's going well back. I don't play Civ, right? I will hold my hands up and say I'm not a Civ guy. Because that's battle based.
No.
Is no advantage for high ground in Civ?
No, flat, no.
Calls itself a war sim.
Well, you when you're in the forests, you get defensive bonuses, and if you're attacking over a river, you get a negative, and if you're in a mountain for whatever reason, you're in a mountain. I don't know why you're in a mountain. Why are you in a mountain? Then there are effectors, but there's no verticality. You're essentially on a flat plane dotted with terrain markers.
Right. I'm bringing in.
Games do verticality.
Shall I tell him? I'll just leave the rabbit up. I think you
Oh,
might
no.
need a camera refresher. Oh yes.
What?
So now I'm dealing with a ranged attack over here. So you've got this river in the way, and that kingly character. Oh, right, I'll bring back that.
Every time I get too animated to
Fine.
run strategy games,
It is.
it turns into a rabbit. Yeah.
It freaks out, and the rabbit has to take over. So yeah, you've got this river in the way. Luckily, this king dude is ranged, and he's firing it out of a book. It's like that whole spell casting thing. We're literally opening a book in their face, and a wave of spell is coming. This one is adopting that mobile style, which you would see in something like, I guess, the original games like Cut the Rope and things like that, where it's individual short levels, 3-star rating, that kind of stuff, which was one of the things that like made mobile work near the beginning, where it's like, hey, look, we need to cater to bite-sized sessions. We need to understand that people don't, and I'm not going to be sitting there for like 2 hours like this. They're going to probably be picking it up, having a couple of goes at something, and then putting it down again.
That smaller screen doesn't lend itself to reconnecting with where you were in a game either. Like on a bigger screen with a strategy game, you said Civ, for instance. When you come back to Civ, there's enough UI elements and there's enough going on screen that you can probably mentally snap back into it. Whereas on a game like this, for instance, where it's smaller and they're short, you know, even if they were longer turns, for instance, there's less UI there. There's less actual stuff to give you clues as to what you're up to. But no complaints regarding short skirmishes. You know, I mentioned earlier Fire Emblem Heroes. Once again, in games that follow that episodic content, it just works really well.
I'm affronted now because I've got someone ragging on me in the chat saying, do they have to explain Civ every single time? Look, all right, I'm not one of these nerds that sits here playing big ward games with the little tiny things in the screen and clicking them around. Just give me the gun, give me the mech. I'll shoot the things for you. And let's leave it at that. Anything beyond that's above my pay grade.
Civ 5 is on iPad. It is on.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So we should. What I'm saying is that we should.
As well.
We should do a. Actually, yeah, you're right. It is 6 now, isn't it? Goodness. Oh, I messed that up.
Do I know more about Civ than you? Is that what just happened?
Yeah, I'm just saying we should.
Playing dumb.
Just saying we should do a Twitch stream. That's all. Of you somehow playing Civ.
Of me looking insanely confused in this room. Cool, great. Can I attack him? Yes, I can. So, we've been nattering while I've been quietly playing the game. So there's a bunch of stuff going on here. As well as the high ground thing, you've got these thorn bushes, you can see those brown ones. They interfere. That, like, forest thing you were talking about earlier, where you run into forest and you get defensive upgrades.
Yep.
Here, the thorns stop you moving. So you have to, even if you can move 4 tiles, you get into the thorns and you have to stop, and then the next turn you can get out of them again. So you can use that to your advantage by basically waiting for the enemies to get stuck. You can miss turns deliberately, wait for them to get all tangled up, and then go in and smash them. And they've also got a bunch of different ranged attacks here that they've been explaining to me.
What I'm quite interested in from what I've seen here is there was quite a vast list of heroes, wasn't there?
Yeah.
But at the moment, you've got 2 heroes and you're going through like generic goblins like you do at the start of most games. But if later on you've got something like 60 or 70 heroes, I don't know the number that there are. But if you've got that many, there's a chance that you could pick a selection of heroes that really are incredibly ineffective in what you're up against. I really like that, you know. Or obviously the other hand, which is what I actually mean when I say this, is you can build a hyper specialized focused team that just always seems to work because it matches your playstyle.
Yeah. Well, there is that thing. I know what you mean. It's quite nice to be able to lose horribly. Like the ability to, where a game lets you like mess it up that badly. That's quite nice, because there's a lot of hand-holding that goes on that is absolutely beneficial in a lot of games, and if that's the kind of game it is, fantastic. That's what you need to do with it. But at the same time, sometimes it's just nice when they go like, here you go, have the stuff, don't mess it up now, and then you absolutely make a pig's ear, and then you have to do the classic like going online, going, oh, you play this thing.
Yeah.
But there's something nice about that. I remember the days of like way back when people would like draw out maps of games while they were playing on like pen and paper, because you couldn't go to GameFAQs, just look it all up or whatever. So that stuff does hold a certain
and I'm not paying 50p a minute to phone the helpline.
Oh my god! I hate to admit that I'm old enough to remember some of that. Never did it though. Would never be allowed to. So. This game is out at the minute and is available to download on iPhone, iPad, Android, I think as well. Riven is the name of it. We should announce that a bunch of stuff has appeared recently. So you've got new characters. There's Voyessa Cave Runner, who's a new character who's appeared that you can collect, who is a savage beast rider, apparently, likes flirting with death. Sounds an interesting companion for a drink. And has an ability called the Horn of Despair. We've all been there, haven't we?
Haven't we just? Yeah.
And there's a new faction come out as well. So you've got the content update, which includes the Defenders of the Sacred Grove. You can get stuck into them as well. Go and find out more over on pocketgamer.com and obviously download it if you are interested. People are already talking about it in the chat, so go and get involved there. I'm going to jump back with 2-shot and put it to bed. There we go. We worked in the end. Well done. It took a couple of attempts, but we got there. So we've got one more thing to come to you from that developer. So this is a little teaser of something top secret before we hit the home stretch. Thank you for being with us, by the way. We've still got a little bit to go, but been an hour and a half. I hope you've seen something you like so far, and there is more to come. And don't forget, we're going to be back again tomorrow. I'm going to be joined by a brand new guest with a whole bunch of different games, and it's going to be a fantastic time. You should get involved. So like a thing, subscribe to the thing, ring bells, all of those things you do on the internet. It'll be a good time, I promise. So we'll talk about it afterwards. This is interesting. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Wilhelm, game director at Snowprint Studios. We are a team of Warhammer 40,000 fans, and I myself came into contact with this hobby when I was a 10-year-old boy, and I've been hooked ever since. That's why it feels like a great honor for us, and also a great challenge to now work within this universe. This work and this game production is just getting started though, and we can't wait to show you much more in the coming weeks and months. So stay tuned and see you soon.
And that is as much as we know on
Wow.
that one. Genuinely, like when I watched the video initially, I was like, okay, so they're going to announce that. Oh no, they're not. They are going the full tease with it. So yes, Snowprint is currently working on a Warhammer 40k game. I've got lots of people I know who will be well into that business. The 40k, it continues to thrive. It cannot be stopped. But we can't tell you anymore. We don't know the name. Like, we couldn't even if we wanted to.
But we do know that it's the same studio as those who made Riven.
That's right.
And they obviously specialize on, I know earlier on we've spoken about developers who just completely pivot from a dead serious game to a flippant game, but for these guys, this team, they totally focus on these kind of intuitive RPG strategy situations, which lends itself really well to the Warhammer formula. So hopefully, that's how they got it. We can't, it's not going to be Riven wearing a 40k skin, but there's going to be, hopefully, we can assume, maybe
making a lot of assumptions here, aren't we? Dangerous assumptions.
That we will see kind of a strategy focus here. Maybe hero driven with some leveling up.
I would have thought. I would have hoped so. There's been some quite successful Warhammer spin-offs that have like nothing to do. There's been like those first-person ones and Space Hulk and stuff, and they've, you know, some of them have worked out better than others. But like when you drill back to the core of what Warhammer 40k is, you know, tactical, not tile-based because it's not technically tiles. You're using tape measures and that in real life, but it always turns into like a tile-based thing. And whether they do it as an RTS or a turn-based. So.
I'm just saying, I don't think they're going to make like a Tamagotchi game where you're looking after, you know, an orc boy. You know, that's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. All right, we can infer that much from the trailer. I'll put my neck on the line and say no Tamagotchi, Tamagotchi 40k. In the grim dark of the distant future, there is only tiny eggs, tiny little eggs. So that is bringing us to our final game. We've had a bit of Riven, and now we're going to talk about one that is we've covered on this channel before. We've talked about it in previous LaunchPads, in fact, and we are delighted to share with you another reveal and even a date to go with it as well. So let's settle down for the home stretch. Let's talk Viking.
After countless battles, we thought we had seen it all.
But the gods showed us how wrong we were.
Cold winds have led our sails to new territories.
Where we'll have to build our village from the ground up.
Overcome the harsh winters.
Defend ourselves against beasts and monsters.
And vanquish the dangers of this unforgiving land.
But what if we weren't alone?
How's about that then? Let's drop this guard and replace it with some actual gameplay. This is me playing on my Android device a little earlier because we can't live stream Android. It's a pain. So we're back. We're back with Northgard and the arrival of the Android version, which is incredibly welcome. This has made the journey from PC originally. I want to say that was the source. Yep. We then hit iOS
and consoles.
It did do consoles too. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never tried it on console, but I've had a bash at the PC one. I have obviously played the iOS version, and now I have played the Android version. And I'm very pleased to say that it works as well as I'd hoped it would work. Because having played the iOS one, it was a really nice fit with touchscreens. It's the kind of it's the kind of thing that just works. Because as you can see, I'm dragging buildings around with my finger and plotting away and stuff like that. When you move strategy games from a PC, from a big screen, from mouse and keyboard onto touchscreen, my concern, especially when it comes to the phones, is always how are we going to deal with all that text, all that teeny tiny text, and those pop-up menus, and are they going to be able to optimize it in a way that isn't awful? And I think they've got it right here. At no point when I've been playing either version did I feel like, oh, I've mispressed this or I've accidentally tapped that when I meant to tap this, and you know, all that kind of thing. I'm also pleased to say, because I've tested it on a couple of devices, that it's not too hardware intensive, which is really handy. Because some of these things, especially like, I don't know, when you bring over the XCOM games, for example, which again they work brilliantly on touchscreens. If you are running a lower end device, if your Android isn't if not up to much, or if you've got maybe an older iPhone, even like it can struggle a little bit because it's even with the downgraded textures and the de-resing that they do on it, still it's a lot of work for the processors, and maybe, you know, not the optimum experience all the time, unless you have a great device, in which case it's fine. But like for example, I've been playing it on this is a Redmi Note 9 Pro, which is not like bottom of the range, but it's not top. This is not like a super expensive unit. And it's like I recorded it on that, and it
cool.
It runs absolutely fine. Like that's I always try and it's all very well when you go and like get the highest end device, play the game on it, and go, this is what it looks like, and then somebody goes to the App Store, downloads it, and it's like, you know that thing where you go into a fast food restaurant and you look at the picture of the amazing like burger that's like this stuff with the beautiful green letters, and then they hand you that pathetic floppy
the wet
thing
thing
in the wrapper.
Yeah.
And you're like, So I always like to go, no, let's try it on a sensible mid-range device, and how most people will wind up playing it. Let's see what it looks like. And it looks like this. It's good. It works. It's nice. Did you actually get to play this one? I was going to ask.
I have played it, and I was going to say there's a question about gameplay in the chat actually, about how it handles, which is so more like Caesar and less like Age of Empires. And what I'd actually say, as someone who's played both of those, is just completely throwing that out of the park. It's closer to, for me, the Settlers series.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you played Settlers, where you have to build certain buildings to get a resource flow in place to build an army. But whereas in Settlers you send out the people who claim segments of the map piece by piece, in this it's split into, it's been a while since I've played it, but it's split into sections, isn't it? So you kind of like claim the next section, and there might be enemies there that they clear out. So you've got to kind of ideally be to a certain strength before you start claiming these other lumps of the map, and then you finish the map, and then it's on to the next.
Well, that's what I'm playing here. I'm playing the story mode because it runs with a campaign, and they are like individual levels, and they drop you into this opening area I'm in right now. And I'm currently building up. You've got like your main town hall, and that will spawn out members of your little conclave over time, provided everything's happy, provided they're happy, which is a main factor here. And then you have a little building that you build, which is responsible for your scouts, which you need to send off into those other sections you're talking about. When I zoom out, you'll see dotted lines across the map. And you need to go over there and investigate and scout those areas. And then if there are any enemies in those areas, then you need to send out your warriors, build yourself a little warrior hut. They spaff out a load of folks with swords, and then you send them on up. They will kill all the wolves or whatever you've got in the way, and then you can claim that area as your own. And then you start building on that area as well. And that's gradually how you kind of work your way out and start growing the empire. But even on this first level, there's quite a lot of pushback. One of the things I've noticed when I was playing it, and also reading around it and seeing what people say, it's not easy necessarily. It's not an easy game that you pick up and go blah and just blast through. There is a lot going on, and it gives you enough information, but it doesn't overburden you with it. And like when the members of my village started looking a bit unhappy, I was like, what do I do? How do I appease you tiny people in my phone?
You build a Norse trampoline. They all go, or a bouncy castle maybe. They all go on the bouncy castle. Yeah, they love it.
And I was really like, yikes, I'm not entirely sure what to do. You can see here, those are the areas that I'm looking to explore and potentially send scouts out into. There's a little shack at the end there that I need to claim. And then there is also a river, which is just up to the north, which you'll see in a second. And has a cave which has a load of wolves around it, which is massively problematic. So this is me sending a scout out into the world. And as you would imagine playing something like this, you can either tap on the individual characters on screen and go, you go over there, you go over there, or you can use the character icons that are in the far right hand side of the screen. You can see a little cluster of faces there, and you can tap those and select, for example, your warriors or your farmers or whoever you've assigned to the individual structures in order to do the work. So here, we've got warriors out there, the warriors hacking up the wolves, doing a fine job, or did they get absolutely battered? I think they may have got battered. Luckily, I regroup, not to be deterred, and I send out a more impressive force in a little bit. But it's one of those ones where it does require your attention. Unlike some games where you can sit back and kind of be speaking to someone, do a kind of like, oh, what was that? Oh yeah, no, I'll do it in a minute, and then you come back. This is ones where you turn around like, oh, my village has been eaten. and all the territory's been lost, and my barn's on fire. It's like 3 seasons have passed because there's a seasonal shift here. You'll see it go to winter at some point, and everyone gets a bit colder and a bit more miserable, and no one wants to farm, and the crops don't grow as well, and all of these things have to be taken into account when you're trying to keep your villagers happy and your settlement thriving. And that's I don't naturally always lean towards these games, as I expressed with my gun mech shooty comment earlier, but I feel like I'm a victim of that same thing where I go, oh, this looks like hard work and everything, and then the moment I go, right, no, I will play it, here we go, sit down, 15 minutes learning, and then suddenly I'm screaming at my Viking to like pick the tomatoes faster, we've got a festival to prepare for and the wolves are coming, like, and then I'm in like that. So I feel like I shouldn't rule out this stuff too early. See here, I'm back to deal with those pesky wolves.
It's revenge time.
It is. It's three mighty warriors I sent out to deal damage.
Glenn, Jeff, and Paul.
Yes, the fearless Glenn, the mighty Jeff, and the unstoppable Paul. That is the little cabin in which the Woldy Wargs live. That's like a little nest, which means trying to claim that area is difficult. But I've now claimed 3 of them, and now this is where the story bit comes in, because you do get pop-ups and things that direct you through the game. I think there's just like I'm sure I've played the mode at some point, but there is a mode where it's just like more open. It's not narrative driven. You can just kind of go and build stuff. But I always prefer it when there's a little bit of narrative thrust. There's a little bit of a point to doing something. And here you can see I've clocked that farming and growing food to eat is a good idea.
Well, that next block over did say that it was fertile land.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So
and that was the problem. The area I was on at the minute wasn't, and then we needed to move to a different area, having conquered that zone just up a little bit. Smash down a farm, get some people working on that, and then all of a sudden, we've turned those frowns upside down, and the people are happy again and bounteous, which is quite nice because it's lots of games use that mechanic, don't they? I think The Sims do a lot of those kind of where they all start mopey and crying and that, and the same thing with the sim games like Sim Hospital and Theme Park and stuff like that.
Yeah, happiness is a key factor. Yeah.
All about keeping folks content. It's a good lesson for everybody, no matter what you're doing. You can learn a thing or two from games about, managing things and making sure people are looked after. I think probably good. Yeah. But I just like the art style's very nice. They've done a really good job of like that. Well, here you go. I've shifted to winter now. That aesthetic, that kind of Viking feeling. It's gone a bit frosty. It's gone a bit snowy. It's gone a bit Game of Thrones before it went bad. And they've invested in the music. They've gotten the drums out, and it feels the part as well as looks it, which I salute and I applaud. When you played it the first time out, like, did you do it on PC or did you jump straight onto the mobile version?
Pretty sure it was PC for me.
Okay. Because I've almost certainly spent more time with the mobile one than I have, and I always, and I know you can like roll mouse wheels and stuff like that for zooming in and out with certain things, but once I get into the pinching and the pulling and the swiping, I do almost prefer it.
But the thing is, with the phone one, you can also do this.
Smack?
Put it up to your face. Yeah, put it up to your face.
And pretend it's a massive cinema screen. What's the purpose of that?
Yeah, well, it's also zoom in, but it's closer to your face.
Oh, I see.
Whereas when you're sitting at your desk, you're a good 40 centimeters away from your screen. Just squint and lean right in.
I see what it. Yeah, all right.
There, but you can practically balance it on your eyes even without zooming in.
And nearly had to bring back the rabbit for that one. So there is actually information about this. While I play, or James from earlier on plays the game and tries to keep everyone happy. There's new content coming. So we've got Snake, Dragon, and Kraken DLCs, which will be available to purchase on the 24th when the game goes live. This is one of those things where DLC is incrementally added to earlier versions of the game, but when they're launching it now, might as well just throw all the DLC right at it. These expansions give you new clans, which you can add to the game and command as you're conquering your Northgard, and you also get the arrival of the Horse, Ox, and Lynx DLCs, which is 3 additional clans that get thrown in. Those ones are paid for because this is a premium game. Obviously, this is a thing that I don't want to say the price and get it wrong. I feel like it's an $8.99 affair. Oh, it says it right there. I do have the information. I didn't have to guess, but I was right. So that's a point to me. Yeah, $8.99. So this is a premium thing that people who are worried about, free-to-play wait times and stuff like that, don't be. Real deal. And these DLCs, the Horse, Ox, and Lynx ones, can be bought individually for $2.99 or as a bundle for $6.99. And they're both available for iOS as well, the version that's already been out for a while, and the new Android one too. I'm starting to ramp up my buildings here because I've now got the farm going on. I'm going to start adding extra structures, and I need to create a silo, which I've just done there, so I can put all my lovely grain over. Oh, and the thaw is happening. Seasons move kind of fast.
Look at that.
It's like the British weather. It's just like turn around, look out the window again. Oh, it's apparently winter now. Great, cool. Thanks for the heads up. And now I'm capturing that object. So I scouted out and found that little kind of half-demolished building over there, and sent a scout out to investigate it. And then the idea is that you can send the scout inside, and they can kind of claim that little building for our own, turn it into something, and then start building other stuff on the location as well. It requires like a little time and patience. Like this is me, like throwing in some time jumps as well. So I've like skipped over 5 minutes here and there, because I am still like getting to grips with the touchscreen version of it. I've played a bunch on iOS, but it was a while ago.
Yeah.
But diving back into the mobile version was kind of fun. But I've sent the warriors out. Here they come, stomping over to cause more trouble. And do a wolf in! Because the wolf has now decided to claim and poach my territory, and I'm not having it. So we had to batter him. There is, even though this one is quite stressful, I still find that I found it quite relaxing. Like, almost in spite of itself. I think it's the music and all the birds tweeting. It's just a chill environment. Even with the imposing deadly wargs. Maybe that's just my thing. It's just what I like. So, as we said, as you saw on the trailer, and we've been saying throughout, this is not out quite yet. This is another August the 24th release date for the Android version. We get a lot of comments on both PG.com and the YouTube channel when we post a game up and when we show a game or review something, and everyone comes in and going, "It's not on Android! Why isn't it on Android?" There's like so many of those comments. It's the most common thing we get. And so it's nice when something premium does jump over and we can go, this is on Android. There it is. Everybody calm down. Everyone can have fun. But it is a challenge releasing premium games on Google. People
it is indeed.
Not paying a thing. But I reckon this one will do nicely because it's got that pedigree. People have been asking for it, and they can now get their hands on it. And I can report, play both versions, both work really well. No complaints from me. So if you want to get your hands on it, it'll be available August 24th, $8.99 or £8.99. But if you already know you're going to get it and you've just been chomping at the bit, if you pre-register over on, over on Android right now, you can get 30% off that price. So only if you actually know you want to get it and you've just been waiting for it to appear, do that. Otherwise, obviously, check out the reviews and investigate at your own leisure. And of course, we will be covering it as well over on EG.com, as we always do. And with that, I'm going to back to a 2-screen and say we're at the end of the stream for today, because this is part 1 of a 2-part event. We always cover 2 days, and we're going to be back again at exactly the same time tomorrow with a whole bunch more new surprise releases, updates, and previously unannounced things to throw in your face on the mobile platform. Does mean that I have to say farewell to Dan.
Yep. It's been great, James. It's been great, everyone.
It's been lovely having you and your frozen visage. And obviously, give it up for Rabbit. Hey, everyone, round of applause. Throw out the likes for Clementine. He's a good boy, and we love him. And I'll pass on your best wishes. But make sure you are subscribed to this channel immediately so that you can get back in on the chat tomorrow. We will be returning, and I'll be joined by Sophia Orby Drake, and we'll be chatting big indie pitch stuff. We'll be playing games live again. We've got a very interesting exclusive reveal that literally, like a trailer doesn't even exist yet. It's so new, but it's going to be it's a big deal.
So much cool stuff tomorrow. Yeah,
come back and join in, and make sure you have, of course, subscribed to the PocketGamer YouTube channel, which you can find just by typing the names in, and also PocketGamer.com, which Dan is now going to go poof and return sitting on the throne.
That's the one.
Towers. He's very surprised to hear it, but
what do you mean?
Fair enough. You've got a gaming chair. It's the modern equivalent of a throne because we live in weird times. Anyway, thank you again, Dan. It's been real. Everybody in the chat, we really appreciated you having us and letting us into your timelines. Please come back and join us. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all that business. And we will see you tomorrow for the same. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.